All right.
Do you hear like any echo in the background or something?
Anything in the background?
Yeah.
Uh, do you see something?
No, like when I'm speaking, do you hear anything in the background or do you just hear
No, I
echo?
don't. Yeah, it sounds all
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna see if I'm pretty sure I did tell Orion to get here at like she messaged me and she said like I'm gonna be there like 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna check.
Okay.
I don't know if I should call Teresa or not, just because I know she's like a little bit more sick than I am.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Maybe just like tell her that if she doesn't feel like it, it's okay if she doesn't show up.
Yeah, it's probably best. So are you doing like a double degree in the fall?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's exciting. So is it like computer science and business?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Are you going to be living in residence?
No, living at home.
Okay, so are you like driving then?
Probably, but if I
Mm-hmm.
get a car by then I'm taking the city bus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a little bit more economical that way, I guess.
it is, yeah. But even if I take the city bus, it's not too far because like I live in Kitchener now, so
Mm-hmm.
it's tough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are your plans for the rest of the summer?
Not too sure yet. I do have orientation in like a week or two, in 2 weeks, yeah. And then I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing after. Maybe a lot of like some hiking, some camping. I'm going to my friend's cottage in a bit, so that should be fun.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Wait, did you get your DELF results yet?
Yeah, I think I did. Somehow I passed.
Yeah, I was so surprised. I passed too. I was like, that is impossible. That's a miracle. Like,
I
what did
thought
you
my
get?
speaking portion was so bad. Like
Yeah,
I just kind of forgot how to speak, so I'm surprised they like passed me for that.
yeah. I don't know how that works, but anyways. What did you get though?
I got like an 80 something, I think.
Jeez, that's nice.
Yeah, I think like the writing portion is what saved me because I didn't do good on the speaking portion.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna message Orion.
Okay.
Oh, she says she can't find the link. Okay, I'm just gonna share it with her. Um, Okay, so there's no join button for Orion for some reason. I'm not too sure if I can share a link directly with her.
Wait, so did you get the link? Can you share it back with
I'm
Ryan?
not sure how to send it.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Claire. Hi. I'm Orion.
Oh,
It's nice to meet
hey.
you. Yeah, sorry, I think I tried logging in with a different email or a different link that was sent. Anyways,
Oh, okay. All right then. Um, I was messaging, sorry, someone else. I'm just trying to find a link, so I'm just gonna tell her it's
no
all.
worries.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's great that we figured that one out.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, it's getting sort of close.
So, how are you doing?
Good. I'm in Toronto right now. I'm here for the summer.
Oh, okay, right. Like for your
Yeah,
internship? All right.
yeah.
Great.
But it's been good. It's my first time like properly moving out, I guess, like aside from like living in res and whatever. So that's been
Yeah.
fun. Yeah. How's your summer been going?
Pretty good actually. I just came back from Alberta. So
Oh
that was like a lot of
yeah.
fun, lots of hiking, and now I have COVID, unfortunately. So
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's okay though, because like now I don't really have to worry about it when I'm in school. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Did you decide where you're going?
Yeah, so I'm going to Queens, I think.
That's
I
amazing.
went
That's
to Kingston and I
awesome.
really liked it there. So I was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Kingston's so pretty.
It is, yeah. Like everyone told me how boring it was, but I don't think so. Like I really like the nature scene. It's very clean, actually.
Yeah. And like I think the campus is super close to the waterfront
Mhm.
or walkable at least.
Yeah, it is. Like the residences are like basically all right there.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
a
super
pretty
nice.
close walk. And this is Shubham, by the way. He's one of the execs on our team.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you, Ryan.
And
Hey, do you guys
Shubham,
know each other?
yeah, we do. Our parents are like family friends.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and Shubham will be emceeing like the majority of it, just because like my voice is slightly dead.
Oh God.
And as well, our other co-president, Teresa, I think she should be coming soon, but she also has COVID, and I know she has it like a lot worse. Everyone's like getting sick right now. I'm just gonna try to troubleshoot the website actually, because like I was a bit concerned about like the people who are attending, because like I got like a lot of questions about like how to work Zoom events, because I think it's relatively new.
So, Orion, how's your internship going so far?
What good. Time flies because it's 3 months long. 2 months have passed by already, which is sort of crazy to me. But yeah, it's been good. It's definitely like a no, it won't go past 5 p.m. sort of thing. Which I definitely like because my boyfriend works until like at the office until 8, and then like last night he worked until 2, I think.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think I could ever do that. No matter what the pay is like.
Yeah, true.
Mm.
So, what
Are
do
you
you do at the
also
internship?
Oh, it's sort of like marketing and operations. And then some like project. It's a pretty large program, so there's not too much they can integrate us into the company. It's mostly like the program operating on its own. But it's been good. It's been good. Yeah. Are you also in grade 12?
Yeah, I just got graduated. We go to the same
Nice.
school actually.
Okay, Preston?
Preston,
Yeah,
yeah.
Preston.
Nice. Where are you headed next year then, Siobhan?
I'm going to Waterloo and Laurier for CS and BBA.
That's awesome. It's amazing.
Does your boyfriend work in finance?
It,
Yeah, I heard like all the hours there are pretty crappy.
yeah, it's bad. He was like, "Oh, I got off early today." It's like 8 p.m.
Okay, so I think Teresa's having some technical difficulties as well. She can't seem to join. I think she just needs to update her Zoom, probably.
Oh, there she is.
Okay.
Hey, Teresa. Claire, do you think the participants might also be having some issues with Zoom?
Yeah, because I got someone who emailed me saying that they couldn't get in. I'm just like trying to make sure that they're on the right account. Cause like, I think it requires the latest version of Zoom and you actually have to have it installed. Cause it wouldn't work when I launched it on the web. So I'm trying to like get them in somehow. Orion, did you have any issues like trying to launch it other than like signing into the wrong account?
I don't think so. I think I was trying to launch it from, it was prompting me to launch Zoom. So I logged in with my school account, which wasn't the one that the invite was sent to.
Okay.
So something like that.
All right. Don't know what issues you're having then.
So wait, Claire, do you have Zoom downloaded on your device?
Yeah, I have it downloaded like in the app because like I tried to launch it from the browser, but then like it just didn't work. Like it worked for the practice runs, but not for like the actual thing for some reason.
Mhm. Okay.
Actually, I think the link that worked for me wasn't even on the desktop version. I think it was the web
It
one.
wasn't? Okay.
Yeah, so I think it had to do with which link it was.
Okay. Because like I'm trying to figure out if I can send a link directly from this meeting, but like I don't really see that option. I think it has to be from Zoom events. Hey Ryan, are you still there?
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So in case of like they can't log on, are you okay if like we just cancel it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay. I totally understand tech issues.
All right.
Okay, just keep me posted.
Oh wait, hold on. I think we have. Okay, I can't let them in for some reason. Oh, Orion, I think they're in now. So, let me just check actually. Okay. Okay, so I guess we can like start the presentation then. I think I can see them in the attendees bar. Are you still good to to set up?
Yeah, of course.
All right, thanks so
Do you want me
much.
to start sharing the screen now or like
Yeah,
after?
Yeah, I think we are good to go because like I think I just like messaged them anyway, so I think we can like skip kind of the introduction part of it.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Mm. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yep.
And then just like let me know when would be good to go because I can't
All right.
see like
Oh, you can't? Okay. I can see you, and I think we're all good to go.
okay, perfect. So I can just start.
Yep. Anytime you're ready.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Right.
Sorry, I've never been like the speaker role before, so this is pretty new to me. So I'm Orion. I'm in my third year at Western, attending Ivy Business School. And I'm originally from Kitchener, so then I moved to London for school. And then right now, this summer, I'm living in Toronto. I'll be back in London in September, so won't be here forever. I'll be back to very boring London, Ontario. This summer, I'm in Toronto because I'm interning at Bell. And I'm just here to talk a bit about why I chose Western, why I got into the marketing side of things, and that general sort of thing. For Western, I knew, and sort of why the business program. I knew that I wasn't a huge fan of like the STEM related courses coming out of high school, but I also didn't have a lot of experience with business specific courses because I had only taken STEM courses in high school. So that was a bit daunting. But what I really liked about business programs is that there's some flexibility in the electives you get and what you can explore um, during your 4 years in university. And what I really liked about the IB program is that the business program, the business classes don't start until your third year. In your first and second year, you can sort of do whatever you want, major in whatever you want to be in. So for me, I chose psychology because I thought that was really interesting and sort of related to the business side of things when I was thinking about like human resources and sort of like the industrial organizational psychology side of things. And also it was a pretty, it's a social science, not like one of the hard science programs. So it gave me some time, some room in my schedule to look into extracurriculars, picking up like not sort of like volunteer slash work experiences during the school year, which I really enjoyed. So that was sort of why Western and why Ivy. And something else I really liked about the Ivy business program is that once you get to your third and fourth year, the classes are 70 people, which is very different from your typical university classroom experience, which is, I had one class that was like 700 people in first year. So the idea of being able to have classes that were, again, like smaller, you get to know your professor, you get to know the people around you, really, really appealed to me. And since this past year, I completed my first year of Ivy, that was something I really did appreciate looking back on it. And as for why marketing, this was something that I guess I just sort of fell into through my first and second year doing like unpaid positions during the school year. A large part of it was I liked the creative aspect. I started out mostly doing like social media stuff and, using Canva and Figma and things like that to create graphics and pretty simple things like that. I'm sure a lot of you might be familiar with or may think of when thinking of like student marketing roles. And then, however, as I picked up different roles and got more into the world of marketing, I saw that it had a lot to do with using data and statistics. And that was something that appealed to me as well because it was more challenging for me. I'd gotten pretty comfortable with just like the creative side of things. So starting to learn more about how much marketing involves, like looking at data and past trends and statistics was something that was really cool to me. Okay, there we go. I also want to go through like my 3 main work experiences prior to this summer with you guys. This is mostly just the ones that relate to my career path, I guess, not including like much smaller ones or like when I worked at Starbucks or anything like that. So the first company that I worked for, this was during the school year of my second year, was called Apricotton. They are a small retail startup targeting female teens and tweens, and they do like adjustable custom bras. And this was a company founded by 2 Ivy alumni, 2 girls. The team was really, really lovely. Definitely like startup retail. And in this role, this one was unpaid, but it was one I stuck with for a fairly long time and learned a lot from. So I wanted to include that here. I worked a lot on press outreach. So a big part of our growth strategy was reaching out to news outlets and bloggers and anyone like that, and pitching our story and pitching like, hey, this is who we target. This is who we're trying to support. We're really trying to grow a community of like empowering girls. And that contributed, you could see the impact that each successful outreach had on the business because it really caused an increase in our social media traffic and in like our website visits and sales as well. Another thing I was responsible for was creating Instagram graphics. So this was like a weekly, twice a week sort of responsibility where my bot or the girls I was working with messaged me what they needed, the specifications, and then I would whip that up on Canva. Pretty straightforward, but it definitely got me into the routine of turning things around very quickly and sort of incorporating feedback because some of the specifications were very detailed. And the last thing was writing blog posts. So this was another part of their sort of content, one of their content pillars, aside from the social media blog posts on their website. So that was pretty fun as well. What I really enjoyed about Apricotton was the target audience was literally me. It was like I could very much relate to the product, relate to the business. So that made like writing the blog posts, creating the graphics, and doing the press outreach very, very easy for me. My biggest takeaways from this, a lot of the tasks were very routine, and I just repeated them week to week. And so what I liked about this was I was able to improve on the tasks each time I repeated them, which I really appreciated. Ultimately, I left this role because I had been with the team for about a year or so, and I felt like it was time to move on. And also at this point, I had thought that I wasn't learning anything new, and learning something new is always something that I want to, keep pushing myself to. So that was why I wrapped up Apricotton. My second work experience was in the summer between my second and third year at a company called Divisional. Divisional is a startup, is a growth marketing agency. So they're a marketing agency that works with a bunch of different clients, specifically for clients that are still in the startup space. So they had a lot of tech startup clients, a lot of they're pretty random. One of them was like a construction equipment rental. One of them was like a poker company. But this is really cool because Divisional was a startup in of itself, working for startup clients. And I guess this was my first like proper summer internship. And here my main responsibilities were writing copy, which is like the written part for Facebook and LinkedIn ads, as well as creating the graphics. And here the graphics were needed to be a step up above like Canva graphics. So I got to learn Figma pretty well, which is really cool. And there was a lot more strategy behind it because Divisional, for this one client that I worked with, it was like a tech startup. They had a backlog of data and campaigns they had run. So we were using the data from there to see like what should we tweak to our future ads to make them more successful. I also worked on outbound email campaigns, which was cool because it was looking at longer form content. I had more than 150 characters to work with, let's say, and looking at different strategies like targeting clients based on the industry that they work in or their specific pain points. Overall, this is really cool because it was something more high level where I was more involved in the strategic side of things, and then also in the execution, writing the emails itself. I also worked on their reporting quite a bit, so aggregating the results from week to week Facebook and LinkedIn ad campaign performances, which is cool, and looking at the trends from that, saying like, oh, this type of ad where it's very text heavy hasn't been doing very well, whereas these ads that have a lot of images and big headlines have been doing really well in comparison, looking at like the click-through rate or the views or anything like that. And as well, I worked on a customer journey audit where it was a new client that we were onboarding. So I was looking at when their user first signs up for their like website or their service, and then the different like email triggers that are sent afterwards. And basically it was like a giant like tree chart basically, and looking at how they could improve on that customer journey. So again, that one was pretty strategic as well, which I really enjoyed. And Divisional was just a 4-month summer internship, which was cool, which is why I didn't continue it. And I'd say my biggest takeaways from here were it was first like my first like paid summer internship. It was quite structured. So that was really cool, but also it was my first exposure to the data side of things, which like I mentioned, really interests me before. And it also helped me look at, it was the first time I worked on like multiple clients all at once, which is really interesting because it got me exposure to a lot of different industries. Like I mentioned before, it went from anything from tech and like software and apps to like a poker company, which was pretty cool to me. And then my most recent work experience prior to this summer was InvestorCom, who is a financial services software company. They sell softwares to streamline processes for financial service workers. And this was during the school year, part-time from January to April of this past school term. And it was completely virtual. Actually, all of these past jobs have been virtual. And so here, one of my projects was building a chatbot using HubSpot on their website. This was pretty cool because it was a project that I was owning and building completely from scratch. So I was looking at what information customers look for when they come to the website. What's the simplest way that we can help these customers without overwhelming them, and like still taking into account the limitations of the chatbot. It can't do everything. It can't like generate new answers. We have to pre-populate it. Another thing I did day to day was running their Twitter account. This was cool because before it was mostly like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. And so Twitter is quite a different ballpark. And also this company was like very, very corporate, like the complete opposite of Africon, which is targeting like 12-year-old girls. This one's financial services. It's very dry. So for the Twitter, it was also just like daily tweets, keeping up with current news relating to the industry and sharing that. and just like growing in numbers there, which is pretty fun. I also helped work on a couple. The only way I could sum it up was like a value proposition deck. It was basically helping them create a document of what the industry problem is, where the gap is, and how InvestorCom software fills that gap. This was a bit tangential to marketing. It was more of a like sales strategic sort of thing, but it really helped me get to know the product, because that was something I really struggled with, given that I had zero exposure to the industry and very, very little understanding of these softwares themselves, because that wasn't my area of expertise. But it really helped me get familiar with the product, with the company, and with the industry. So that was really challenging, but really helpful. And then the newest part of this work experience was getting to work with HubSpot and Salesforce, which are both two customer relationship management softwares. And so it was mostly HubSpot, which is just their giant database of all their customers, and a bunch of like contact, company information, things like that. So the day-to-day responsibilities relating to this were just updating it and keeping it clean, so like data integrity. I also built a few dashboards to look at certain metrics like sales per quarter, per company size, things like that, so that my boss, the VP marketing, could look at where we were doing really well and where we could increase our efforts in. For example, InvestorCom sweet spot was, I believe, companies of 50 to 100 employees. So let's say in the most recent quarter, my dashboard showed that the majority of their sales and their deals were coming from companies between 100 and 200 employees, which isn't their target company. So that shows that there could be some improvement made over there. And again, InvestorCom was a 4-month internship, so that's why I wrapped it up. But my biggest takeaways from this were definitely everything I worked on here was like very new to me, which was really cool. But getting to work with HubSpot and Salesforce, which are pretty common CRM platforms across the industry, was a really valuable experience for me, because somewhere smaller like Apricot or even divisional wouldn't need platforms like HubSpot and Salesforce, just because they don't have the data. They don't need a software as powerful as this to manage it, but InvestorCom did and used the software, which is really cool. And then finally, moving in now, I'm currently at Bell as part of their summer internship program, and it's called the Leadership Development Program, and my role is a customer experience consultant. And so how the program works is you're here for the summer between your 3rd and 4th year. And at the end of the summer, if you're given a return offer, then you go into their graduate leadership program, which is full-time and isn't an internship anymore. It's still just called a program because it's a like 18-month program, I believe. But then you're like full-time. You don't need to like reapply after that. And that starts after you graduate, after you're done your 4th year. So the summer leadership development program is just like sort of testing you out, seeing how you fit in at Bell, seeing how you work with people, things like that. And then the graduate leadership program is you have in a span of 16 months, sorry, not 18, you hold 2 different roles, each one for 8 months, and you get to pick from a huge list and get assigned a role. And that it's like you're basically test running a job, which is pretty crazy to me because that's not something you can usually do. You test it out for 8 months. If you don't like it or just are interested in another, you switch to a different job for 8 months. And then after that, you choose on where to settle. It could be one of the 2 you already tried. It could be a completely new one. But that's called a rotational program. Some companies have them, some companies don't, but that's something that I really value and I'm interested in pursuing here at Bell, just because of the exposure to different business practices. And so right now, so far in my how the leadership development program works for my segment, which is customer operations, is you spend the first month and a bit doing Bell's call centers. So they train you for that, and you like actually take calls and talk to customers and try to solve their problems. And the whole purpose of that, I know it doesn't sound very glamorous, I guess. But the whole purpose of that is so that you know Bell's core operations, so that you know the customer's pain points, you know what customers are, what their problems are, and you really know like what's at the core of Bell's business. And then you take that and take the learnings from that and do like a few consulting projects, which are like sort of just longer case comps, I guess. And so you have a really firsthand experience of what problems you could be solving at Bell. These are very like contained, like they obviously won't be implementing your actual suggestions and things like that. But you are being looked at your, like critical thinking skills, your presentation skills, working with others in the project, things like that. So that's the whole purpose of the customer operations call center side. And it's only now, like during the call centers, I was like pretty bored. I wasn't taking it like too seriously. But then during the consulting projects and now on the team I was assigned to, which I'll talk about next, I'm really seeing the value of having done those call center days. So beyond consulting projects and the call center, we are now also being assigned to an actual team at Bell, doing actual work for the next month or so. And for me, it's under sales and loyalty, and then the team itself is like a proactive strategy team. So what this team looks at is these certain types of complaints that Bell gets. That is one of like Bell's new priorities under the new CEO. And so they're looking at how can we proactively decrease these complaints in the future. And so it's actually a lot of data and a lot of project management, because you're working with a lot of other teams and managing a lot of people at once, a lot of different relationships. You have to reach out for a lot of information. So that's been pretty cool so far. It's only in my second week with them. But basically, like we shadow them day to day, get to see the ins and outs of how a team at Bell works. And me and another intern who's on this team as well are working on like a specific project that will present to some execs at the end of the term. So that just about brings me to the end of the part where I talk. That's where I am currently on the proactive strategy team right now for Bell. And I guess we can do questions now if there are any.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Ryan. We will now be moving on to a few questions. So if you have any questions, pop them into the chat.
And then do you want me to keep sharing my screen or?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it is good either way. And thank you so much for the presentation, Orion.
No problem.
I actually do have a question for you. So you mentioned like you worked with like a bunch of like kind of clubs and companies right before you started. And so I was just wondering, when you were at school, did you have like more opportunities brought to you, or like do you kind of just go actively looking for them through like alumni and people?
Yeah, for sure. So during my first year, there were a couple marketing clubs on campus, and for Western at least, what they did is they have like programs where they pair up students to like unpaid internships. A lot of the companies that are willing to take on these students are like generally smaller, like student founded, stuff like that. But definitely like really good opportunities, because the first one that I worked with was it was like teaching people, it was like running CPR classes. But that was really cool. I stuck with that company for about 8 months, where it was my first exposure to like doing the social media stuff and like running their Instagram. And it was pretty cool because that job actually resulted in, it started out unpaid, and then the last little bit, the guy actually like started to pay me, because he was like, oh, like I want you to like be taking on more responsibility, et cetera, et cetera. So that was really cool. And that was through a school club where you just like apply to be part of their like unpaid internship program, and then select your like most popular, like the ones you're most interested in, and they'll like match you up and sort of try and supervise the internship a little bit as time goes on. But that was my first one. It was called like Forest City First Aid. And I also found Apricot through that one. And then Apricot I stuck on like even past the school year because I really enjoyed it. So your unpaid school internship can also extend beyond that.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for that. Yeah, that does sound like it sounds like you have like a lot more opportunities, like depending on like once you get to post-secondary, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. Oh, we do have a question in the chat. It says, which company was your favorite and why?
I definitely think I'd say divisional, just because it was pretty exciting to me. It was my first like proper job, I would say. And just the company was so well structured. They had everything running and really organized on Slack. They used Notion, actually. I don't know if any of you guys like use that for school and stuff, for all their project management, which was my first time using it. And it was like incredibly organized. I love the interface. So just like the project management side of things, it was super clear. The people were amazing. They were all 20 to 30. And just like the diversity of what I was working on and the both in the types of clients as well as the tasks themselves was something that I really loved.
All right, and I think I'm going to ask the question from our question bank, which is like what we commonly ask at development sessions because we think they're quite useful. So do you think there are any skills, whether they're like hard skills like any kind of softwares or soft skills that like a high school student interested in business or marketing should pick up now?
I guess for my personal experience, like I didn't focus on any specific hard skills prior to, I wouldn't even say prior to university, like prior to my third year. I guess if you called like learning HubSpot and stuff a hard skill, or learning Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, those were things that I picked up like during my work experiences. But I would say if you're interested in developing any of those things, I would say looking at just like those online courses where you can just sort of like learn these skills on your own and stuff like that. Because it's sort of hard to get access to things like HubSpot, Facebook ads, or LinkedIn ads without having like the actual company there. Because why would you do that with your own like account, right? It's not a business account. But definitely looking at like those LinkedIn courses, like LinkedIn learning courses, or things like that, because like stuff like that is stuff you can learn pretty easily on your own time, but is definitely really valuable for like entry roles, I would say.
All right, sounds pretty good then. So are you saying like when you get like a business company account, then you have like a lot more access to like resources and stuff? Or like a school account even? Okay.
Yeah, it was also like for Facebook ads, for example, it's like an entirely different interface or dashboard that you see, which is pretty cool. And if you do it like with these courses, they'll probably have like example screenshots of what you might see when you're running it. Whereas like even if you do set up like just an empty skeleton business Facebook account, you're not gonna have like a click-through rate or like any metrics to look at because you're not running real ads. So I would say like just it's more valuable if you just do it through the courses where they're just trying to give you examples.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we'll just wait a couple moments for any. Okay. What do you love and hate the most about marketing?
I would say what I really enjoy is definitely the creative half of it. And I'm not saying like, oh, creating like actual like ads, like ad design. I mean, like looking at a number or a series of numbers over time and somehow translating that into an executable campaign, whether that campaign is like through email or social media or outreach or anything like that. That's something that really interests me because it's creative, but it's not like you didn't just like pull that out of thin air. You can say like I chose to target this segment because historically they've been performing well, or like they respond really positively to Facebook ads or something like that. So that's something I really enjoy. I guess what I dislike is it does feel a bit fluffy at times, right? Like if I'm like, it's very like, if you're in that rhetoric of like, oh, like marketing doesn't work, that sort of thing. At some point you're like, oh, what tangible difference am I making, sort of thing. And I guess this isn't something I've had exposure to yet in terms of like a drawback of marketing, but I've heard people discuss it, is that like it's a very, like at the end of the day, what you're trying to drive is sales. You're not trying to like, sure, you can increase your engagement rate on social media, but that's sort of like nothing compared to driving sales. At the end of the day, you're always driving sales. Like everything you're doing with marketing should be relating to sales. And for me right now, I think since my roles are pretty like entry level and contained, it's harder for me to see that just yet. But I think in the future, when you start getting more into like corporate relations sort of thing and balancing that, it's definitely, I would anticipate a struggle to navigate those relationships, because like, sales will have their own agenda. You have your own agenda, blah, blah, blah.
All right, then we'll put in a last call for questions. If not, then I'll pass it over to Shubham and he can wrap it up.
Perfect. So we will now be wrapping up our first event of the series. Thank you so much to Orion for her hard work on her informative presentation, and we hope you all learned something new. We will now take a break, and the conference will resume at like 11:30 with a keynote presentation from Professor Len Du. We hope to see you all shortly, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right. It was great having you, Orion. Thank you so much for coming up. Great. Well, bye, everyone.
Bye.